clicker? Great. Anything else that you need?
Let's see, we had a session on... Oh. Is that working? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think we had a session on imposter syndrome. So actually, that's it right now. Could I have a chair on stage too, please? Oh, that's just because I need a place to sit. So I'm very impressed that you're ahead of schedule. That makes me feel really good. I think maybe I'll put it on the edge. Could you sort of put it here? Okay, I just have to direct things. Okay, how many people have put up furniture in their house and they put a couch somewhere? They go, no, that's not right. Move it somewhere else. No, that's still not right. Move it somewhere else. And their husband, my husband, says, no more, it's staying put. So thank you for moving my chair, and it will stay put. Okay, I'll sit down. So I just came from a wonderful discussion about women in maritime, and what it is that we do. So I have an interesting title for this. I have a question for everyone out there. How many are in a career, put your hand up if you're in a career that you plan to be in? Ooh, wonderful, I've got a few people. That's good. But for most of us, I think we end up somewhere where we had no idea where we were going to go. Did anyone here actually plan to be in a career in maritime? I shouldn't say it's the cadets, because of course you're there. Anybody here plan to be in a career in maritime? Oh, I got some people. Thank you very much. That's good. I got another hand back there. I didn't even know about maritime. I didn't know there was a career opportunity. And so I didn't mean to go to sea. I actually stole that title from somewhere else. There's a great children's book. It's a series of books by Arthur Ransom. And he's got this great series, and the one title was, We Didn't Mean to Go to Sea. I didn't mean to go to sea. I meant to be a figure skater. How many people love figure skating? Okay, I adore it. I got a couple of hands. Excellent, 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 excellent. I started figure skating when I was 3 years old. I did it all my life. By the time I was 17, going out of high school, I had my career planned. In fact, I had it in the newspaper. Carson set to join European Ice Show. I had auditioned. I had been accepted. I had a ticket to go to Germany. Now, okay, question. Where do you think I'm from? You've heard me talk. What country? I am from Australia, but I'm actually from Canada, so I don't sound like an Aussie. In fact, I don't even know some of their lingo, but I can actually understand some Aussies. But I'm from Canada, so to go to Germany for a Canadian at the age of 17 was huge. And you probably can't see a year on that. No, you can't. What year do you think that was? 1983. So that was actually 1982 because I had my life planned out. 1983, I joined the Coast Guard. All of this was planned. It was all ready to go. Yes, it was at that time of your life when you actually go and you applied to every university going. And at that time, I applied to universities. And my boyfriend, it was high school, so it was like a boyfriend for 5 minutes-ish, you know. You change them like you change your socks. But anyways, he had told me that he was going to go to this place called Coast Guard College. And I said, what on earth is that? I said, well, I'm applying to everything anyways. I had my application, so I sent it there as well. And I thought, there we go. So, if he's still my boyfriend in, 2 more days, at least we've both applied. How many of you had a bunch of boyfriends when you were a teenager? Oh, yes. Okay, actually my husband's in the audience, so I should watch this one. Anyway, so my plan was that I was going to be a figure skater. I was going to go to Europe, skate with an ice show for three or 4 years, come back, get married, have 2 kids, 2 cats, and teach figure skating. That was my goal. I had it planned out. Now, didn't work that way. About 3 months before I was about to go, because it was like beginning of the year, I had actually torn a cartilage in my right knee. I had no idea what that all meant, but anyways, I tore a cartilage in my right knee. It healed funny. I did a medical. They looked at it. Germany said, no, you can't come because you won't be able to handle the rehearsal schedule. Your knee will give out. You cannot join us. It was in a newspaper. I had to go. Everybody knew. I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated. The next day, I got acceptance from the Coast Guard College. A+. That meant I got in no matter what. There were people who actually came to the Coast Guard College after people left who had a D. I didn't even know that. Anyways, I got into the Coast Guard College. I thought, well, I can't go skate. I don't want to go to university because everyone's going to university. And just like other speakers have said, I want to do something different. So I joined the Coast Guard. So I didn't want to go to sea. I liked ice. I felt devastated when this happened, but I picked myself up and I went to the Coast Guard College. Oopsies. They're all going to come in. There we go. I went to the Coast Guard College. And I never thought anything about it because, like I say, I just applied because my boyfriend applied. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know that there might be an issue with women in maritime. I had no thought of that. And I went to the Coast Guard College in 1983. 1977, that's when the first women went. So this was 5, 6 years after. There won't be a problem. Won't be an issue. I never even thought about it. And actually, if you were to look at all of the women there, you would see that there were actually, I think, about 18 women out of 62 graduates. We were pretty good. We were 29% of the graduates from the Coast Guard College were women. And so again, I felt, not an issue. And then I got to sea. Then I got on a ship. And then reality hit. So how many seafarers, how many of you have been on a ship? Women, come on, hands up. Women on a ship, yep. Okay, let me know, how many other women were on the ship with you? No one. Were you the only woman? Yes. One or another, yes. So I went to sea, how many? No one, yeah. And it really was like that. What year was that? What year? 2002. Okay, so I'm talking 83. So what's wrong with this world? Anyways, this issue is still there. So that was a class of 86. That's me. How 80s? Does it look 80s? Do you remember the 80s? I kind of want to forget them a bit with the hair. Especially the hair. Yeah, I think everyone looks at the photo and they look at the hair. I don't think I ever looked that young. Not really. But I loved it. It was an amazing experience. I got to go places and to see things I never thought I would be able to see. I'm going to go over time just to let you know. You guys were ahead of time. I'm going to put you back on time. So don't worry about that clock. It will go over. So I had this opportunity to do lighthouse supply, to drive little barges, to go to the Arctic, to drill for ice. Actually, that ice, I'm in there. I can't find that. It's the laser there. No, it's not going to work. That ice is in Viscount Melville Sound in the Canadian Arctic. It was the oldest ice because it had never melted. It's now melted. In my lifetime, where I stood is now no longer ice. And we drilled ice cores to study what was going on. So things really do change. John A. Macdonald, one of my favorite ships. So I had an opportunity to do amazing things. I did the first Arctic survival ice test on ice test that led to the guidelines on polar. Now they actually have a code, a polar code at the IMO. But I was doing the first tests for the guidelines. 5 days and nights on the ice, bloody cold. In February, in Canada, 24 hours darkness, bloody cold. Did I mention it was cold? It was so cold. We had like a porta potty. And we started off with 3 women and 6 men in the trial. The first night, one of the women actually was, they took our temperatures. They took our core temperatures. Okay, any nurses out there? How do you take a core temperature? Anybody have any ideas? Anybody? It was not nice. But one of the core temperatures was falling down below the fact you would have gotten hypothermia if we stayed, because we were sleeping in these life rafts. And it's the lady on the edge there, just beside me. Yes, take that clock off. How much longer can I have, Bridget? 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. See, I was reading her mind. We read minds. And so that was a crew that we were all there. So myself and Isabel, the other Isabel, that's myself, and there's Isabel there. We had what we called polar mascara. You wake up in the morning, your eyes are frozen shut. You can't open them until you put your fingers on your eyelashes, and then they can open. Boom, I can see again. First morning, I thought I'd gone blind. I didn't know what I was doing. So we did this on-ice test. I had a few polar bears. I've got lots and lots of polar bear shots. This is long before Instagram. We had these cameras. I take all these photographs, and maybe out of 3 or 4 rolls of film that I would send off to get back, I get 3 photographs that were worth looking at. I wish I'd had a phone when I was there. I slept in an igloo, built an igloo, slept in an igloo. All the great things that I could do. But often, I was one of a few women, or just on my own. And it was lonely. Very, very lonely. And actually, had such great experience, had so many opportunities, but I also found myself becoming a person I did not want to be. Because I had to fit in, didn't I? If you've been on a ship and you're the only woman on that ship, you know the feeling. You have to fit in. And how do you fit in? You fit in by doing what the guys are doing, by becoming one of the guys, by talking like one of the guys. My boyfriend, who is now my husband of many years, when he took me home to see his mother, he said, "Please don't swear. She's a God-fearing woman." Because I would swear like a trooper. My children swear because they say I was raised by a seafarer. There you go. So I was lonely. I felt really lonely. I felt I didn't like who I was becoming. And I had to do something. I had to leave, one way or another. So there's one option, and sort of had that when I was taking this photo. I could have just walked away into the ice and not bother going back to the ship. Or there was another option, because I only saw things in black and white back then, and that was to quit the Coast Guard, buy a secondhand bookstore, and hide away and read books all my life. Neither one really was where I ended up, was it? But it was that feeling of being alone. And that feeling of being alone is something that we all have and that we all deal with. Whether you're a man or a woman, at some time, you're going to feel that you're all on your own. You're going to feel like I was on the ice, looking at that ship going away. What am I going to do? So I had to pick myself up and reinvent myself. Just like when I couldn't go and skate. I now felt I couldn't go back to sea because I was not going to be me. I was going to drink too much. I was going to swear too much. I was going to be a mean person. A bit like Mean Girls, that movie. I was going to be mean, and I didn't want to be. So I reinvented myself. And I found out that the maritime industry is huge. I didn't know that. I was blinkered. There was a ship. I was on a ship. I had a job. I was a seafarer. I was a navigator even. I wasn't even an engineer. Who are the engineers? Any female engineers here? Yeah. You can go ashore because you can run a plant. You can run a hotel. This whole place has engineers. They don't have mariners. They don't have navigators. However, there's lots of roles for navigators. I went into Rescue Coordination Center. I went into VTS. I had all sorts of, VTS, that's a good one. Do you guys know what VTS is? Oh, thank God. I talked about vessel traffic services, and everyone says, what on earth is VTS? So I went into various things, and I ended up looking at technology. And I had an opportunity in the 1990s to say from a shore side, wouldn't it be nice if we had transponders on ships? And instead of just a little radar blip, we would know who that ship was. And we started working on that. And so I actually have the opportunity to be at the ground on something that is now called, what was then called the Universal Automatic Identification System, and I bet you everyone knows AIS. I actually had that opportunity, so it was kind of cool. So I still found, though, okay, point out the women. What's wrong with that picture? So that was, probably in 2016, when I was in Australia. Take a look at this one. Point out the women. I was chairing the working group developing the next generation of AIS called VDES, VHF Data Exchange System. But where are the women? And that was in 2019. And so that brings me to 2019. That is the Vessel Traffic Services Committee of IALA, which is now called the International Maritime Organization for Marine Aids to Navigation. Nothing to do with IALA, but that's his new name because it's now an NGO. That's the whole of the committee, and that's all the women. Something's wrong with this picture. Something's very wrong. And so now we need to reach the tipping point. In 2019, a girlfriend and I, Janine Drummond, we ran a campaign, a challenge for women in maritime. 365 days of the year for 2019, we were going to post pictures and a short story about a woman in maritime. And people said, you won't get that many. We had more, and I bet you, some of you, I know Beatrice is one, were one of those women that we posted in 2019. It was an amazing challenge. It was so empowering. And so we have a big group of women in maritime. However, we still have a percentage problem. We need to get from 2% of seafarers are female. 1983, I was told 2% of seafarers are female. We are now in 2025. What's the percentage? What's the percentage of seafarers who are women? 2%. I have been in this industry since 1983, and we haven't gone anywhere. Where is that tipping point? I have an opportunity now to give back, and that is what I'm consciously doing. So all those challenges I had, all those difficulties I faced, they have now made me who I am today. And I want to give back to the industry. I want to ensure that we have diversity in the boardroom. We have diversity at those meetings. We have diversity in technology. And that's where we need to be. So I didn't mean to go to sea, and I bet there's many of you didn't mean to go to sea. But are you glad you did? Are you? I am. Thank you.